talking peace but sending missiles is basically the gist of what's going on overnight. We can there's been a reported reach out to the Iranians after the close today. Oil was up about 4.5% or 4% thereabouts, and got absolutely whacked just after the close when Channel 12 Israelis. Israeli media essentially went and said that a 15-point plan had been sent to the Iranians. None of it's been verified. The Israeli government hasn't even verified it. Trump's said that Iran sent them a gift. Our first thoughts were, I wonder if it was ticking. There might be a bomb inside, But look, this really brings us to the point of like what leaders are saying and what they're actually doing in the conflict, right? So, I mean, so this is a pretty key stats here. US and Israel have launched 2,700 attacks at a pretty high success rate. And you can see the blue dotted line there is an average of the attacks. So while this is the last 15 days. So while the US is this is where Trump announced, 48 hours and, we're in talks with Iran. That was the second highest day of attacks from both of them, and then obviously one that was very much on the average there. The Iranians, their attacks are far less successful, only around about the 28% rate in terms of causing damage. But they've just maintained a steady, if anything, they've started to increase the attacks over the last 4 or 5 days. Doesn't sound like someone who's coming to the negotiating table for peace. So ceasefire talks are progressing. There's a 15-point plan. Both sides showing restraint. So those stats show that's complete horse crap. Given that they're actually, the Iranians are upping it, and the only day where we've been below the average recently for the US has been yesterday. And he did tell he did make a big deal about peace, so he can't obviously go and do that. Trump's statement that we've obliterated their navy. They have no navy. There is literal videos of Iranian navy escorting non-US dollar denominated oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's complete crap as well. Iran wants to make a deal very badly. No direct or indirect negotiations, communications since the US war has begun. These Iranians have called Trump's claims fake news, and essentially, we're still waiting to hear with the Iran. He's lying on such a daily basis now that he's obviously just realised that he's leaked something to the Israeli press. Like I said, the Israelis haven't even government haven't even confirmed that. One, that oil's moved on the back of this morning, basically what's going on. I mean, naval mines have been put in the strait as well. That's confirmed by this, a third party being the British. US have denied that. So this is, it's essentially just an absolute effort every day to try and work out what the hell's going on. The whole gift thing, he pretty much changed his mind midway. I would listen to the press conference live. It was the ramblings of an old man, and essentially would not hold too much weight in it. They sent him a gift, and apparently the gift was physical, but then it was something to do with the oil supplies and letting people through. So, he can't even keep up his own story in the same press conference. So, this is the sort of thing we'll be basically watching. But Trump's batting at a 23% truth and a 77% rate of false facts or unverifiable facts at this point in time. So basically, you can listen to maybe 2 in 10 of anything he says, and markets moving on the back of it will end up just being absolutely categorically punished. We've had futures jump on there after the close. It was really aimed at big tech last night. The sell-off. Some of the chip makers and things and memory chip guys headed a little bit higher, but the software names got pretty whacked up. There's a lot of talk about private credit and how 20% of private credit is in software in the US. I don't know whether any of these names necessarily, have got private credit deals going. I wouldn't imagine they would. They're pretty big. They would just have, convertible notes or normal debt. So So yeah, they've certainly, some of them have issued debt, Oracle particularly, but I think that's just a bit of a, you know, people probably taking the chance to get out of a little bit of software potentially, worrying about growth overall, and but yeah, this would obviously have all turned around since the wonderfully. I feel like I'm playing Chinese whispers in the playground. It's that sort of level with the media. But if you walk past a television, it says Trump's doing a deal. You can kind of understand why the market kind of moves on it until and then it sort of sorts itself out over the next few days. So we're still sitting in territory on all the technicals. We've still got Nasdaq and S&P sitting just below 200-day moving averages. We're still down on a 5-day period. We had a little bit of a bounce back yesterday in China and the Nikkei. We were still down, but I think the S&P is now up about 0.9%. SPY futures were up about 12. We had a bit of a recovery in gold and silver. Copper as well. Crude, crude was, this isn't the official close on crude. This was this is including the aftermarket. So it was up around about 4%. It's back to down 0.5%. And just to I can probably provide a bit of a live update here as well. But overall, it was, after his press conference, nothing had been, the market hadn't moved. He said Iran had given him a gift, and so essentially, his point was to try and move, oil markets down lower. And I highly suspect that it's not a coincidence that Israeli leaks to the media leaks then said that there was some deal done straight after. So it's increasingly like. Nothing really can be verified at this point. And like I said, until we hear from the Iranians, same as with the tariffs, until you hear from the Chinese on the tariffs, you don't believe anything. So we're we're basically back at around about $89. I would expect oil, as this gets completely debunked, I would expect oil to head higher over the course of the day. We've got an interactive map. That first map that was at the front there. And the first slide is on Mosaic at the moment. I've chucked that up on socials. You can have a look at that. If you like, you get a few free Mosaic articles, and it just goes through all of the stats and all of the verification that we've spent a lot. Well, me particularly, have spent a lot of time on over the course of the last few days to work out what's actually going on between what's being said, because at some stage, if this escalates and Trump's still talking peace, you're going to get caught out. So, and it would depend on which news agency you were potentially watching. But and we've got a gold and silver structured investment, which is available to not only wholesale but retail as well. You can find out about that in our, through Mosaic as well, or you can email us at invest@mpcmarkets.com.au, and just scan the QR code and sign up for a free trial, and we'll sort you out. But there's not much to do here at the moment. We're still really waiting to see if there is any actual peace talks. That's going to dominate for today. But if we have rallied, it's probably not a bad opportunity to be going back to some cash. And having a look at those gold and silver names, because we think this is probably pretty good buying territory down here at the moment as well. So, look, have a great day, people, and we will speak again tomorrow.